The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Labor leaders are pledging their support for the presidential bid of Vice President Leni Robredo. Talks are currently ongoing to help Robredo form a more inclusive senatorial slate. Tell us more, we now have Gerard de la Peña. He's reporting live from Mandaluyong. Gerard, good afternoon. What do you have for us?
Charles, a group of labor unions have formally asked Vice President Robredo to include their own senatorial bet in her own ticket. The group is called Alliance of Labor Leaders for Leni, or All for Leni, and they have asked Robredo to add senatorial candidate Attorney Sonny Matulak in her senatorial slate. The group, composed of about 350,000 members of various labor groups and unions nationwide, said there should be more sectoral representation in Leni's senatorial lineup to further the cause of laborers. Matula laid out his 5-point labor agenda should he earn a spot in the Senate. These include moves to end contractualization, pushing for national minimum wage, strengthening the right to self-organization and punishing those who kill labor leaders, strengthening the universal health care system, and strengthening employment as a whole. Matula said that he has already held talks with Robredo and that the Vice President has kept an open mind on the points raised for further discussions. The group, however, noted that even if the Vice President won't choose Matula, they will keep supporting her candidacy as they share a common goal. That is to end the kind of government that the current administration espouses and to stop the return of a Marcos in Malacanang. The group also said that they respect the Vice President's prerogative in choosing the current candidates in her slate. The group also held talks with labor leader Leody de Guzman, who is also running for president. But they ended up pledging their support for Robredo as they considered her track record, winnability, and support for collective action. They also said they supported Robredo even before de Guzman decided to file his candidacy for president, and that they admitted that Calyody's decision actually came as a surprise for them. Charles, the alliance has also called on Leni Robredo supporters to unite and ask them to end their bickering over Robredo's senatorial slate. Charles.
Thank you for those updates. That was Gerard de la Peña reporting live from Mandaluyong. Presidential aspirant Leody de Guzman apologized for one of his previous posts about the country's former women presidents, which drew criticism for supposedly having misogynistic undertones. In an earlier post, the socialist leader brought up the shortcomings of former Presidents Cory Aquino and Gloria Arroyo in addressing the problems of the poor, despite replacing ousted leaders. He warned that Vice President Leni Robredo's presidential bid may usher a repeat of history, alleging that her only goal for running for president is to prevent another Marcos or Duterte presidency. In a statement, Leody said he never meant to criticize these past presidents based on their gender, but because of their failures to address the country's fundamental issues. He added that he has high respect for Robredo's track record, but he said he only wanted to provide context on Robredo's intentions to run for president. Senate President pro tempore Ralph Recto admits Bongbong Marcos is the candidate to beat in the presidential elections. That's if he gets the support of President Duterte. In an interview with the Chiefs, Recto, who had already voiced his support for Isko Moreno, said that Sara Duterte is the strongest candidate in terms of geography. However, Recto explained that since Duterte has yet to announce her candidacy, Marcos will take the lead if the current administration supports him.
Today, you have possibly two administration candidates. Those who filed already, it's either Batu or Marcos. If the president supports BBM, then that's a very strong ticket. I think Bongbong has a strong base also in Region 1, 2, doing very well in Region 4. Plus Mindanao, that's a formidable, I think he's a stronger ticket. He's a stronger candidate.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Fuel prices are up for the 8th straight week, and some economists expect the trend to continue until the first quarter of next year. To tell us more about this, we now have Shaila Francisco joining us live from Taguig City. Good afternoon, Shaila. Let's start with how much the price hike is for today and how much prices have increased since the start of the year.
Charles, starting today, gasoline prices are up by 1 peso and 80 centavos. Diesel is up by 1 peso and 50 centavos, while kerosene is up by 1 peso and 30 centavos. Since the start of the year, we already saw an almost 18 peso increase for gasoline, more than 16 peso increase in diesel, and more than 14 peso increase in kerosene. Charles?
Right. Shaila, I understand that economists are expecting this trend to continue until the first quarter of next year. Why is this, and what is the fundamental reason behind this price hike?
Charles, it still has to do with the limited supply. As you know, some economies of big countries are starting to open up. This means higher demand for fuel prices. But despite this, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, hasn't still decided whether to increase supply. Aside from that, some economists are expecting prices to continue to go up because winter season is coming, and during the winter there is higher demand for fuel prices, so they expect prices to normalize by March of next year. Charles?
Right, we are in the 8th straight week of increase. Has the country seen significant impact on related commodities?
Well, Charles, for one, the transportation sector is feeling the brunt of higher fuel prices. Some motorists are already complaining of higher fuel prices because instead of them bringing home the additional income they have with the opening of the economy, are allotting the additional income for gasoline prices. We're also seeing some food producers complaining of higher production costs. Charles?
Right, I suppose the most important question, Shaila, is what is our government doing about this, and what are the prospective benefits or strategies that we're looking at?
Charles, first off, according to some economists, they expect that the consumers will feel the higher fuel prices being passed on to related commodities by December this year, when economy opens up further, which means higher demand. Now, as for the actions taken by the government, the DOTR is already studying whether to allow for fuel subsidy and other discounts for public utility drivers. Over at the House of Representatives, they already filed the bill calling for the unbundling of fuel prices to see if there's an overpricing. Charles?
Thanks for those updates, Shaila. That was Shaila Francisco reporting live from Taguig. It's not just the Filipino ballers who are making waves in Japan. Pinoy volleyball exports are also making a huge impact in the land of the rising sun. While Carlos Yulo is looking to bring more gold and glory in the upcoming World Championships. Gretchen Ho reports.
A more stable Kaloy Yulo is hitting all his tumbling passes in the floor exercise and even had clean landings on the vault. Yulo is gearing up for his world title defense in the 50th FIG World Artistic Gymnastics Championship in Japan this Wednesday. He's hoping to pick up on his gold and bronze finishes in the 2021 All-Japan Senior and Master Gymnastics. Also in Japan, Pinoy volleyball imports opened their campaign in the V-League. Reigning PVL MVP Jaja Santiago and her team Ageo Medics racked up back-to-back victories against the Okayama Seagulls. Jaja was reliable as ever, scoring 17 points in the first game and 10 points in the second. Power hitter Brian Bagunas and his team Oita Miyoshi, on the other hand, split their games on the opening weekend. Brian exploded with 22 points in the first game win, but was limited to 10 in the loss against Osaka. Mark Espejo, meanwhile, made his debut in the V-League. Unfortunately, Mark and his team FC Tokyo fell to defending champion Suntory Sunbirds in the opening weekend. Espejo registered 18 points, built on 15 attacks and 3 blocks on their last game.
Sparks for 3.
In the Japan B-League, it was a showdown between Bobby Ray Parks and Dwight Ramos, with Ray coming out on top. Parks and Nagoya dominated the first game, winning by a margin of 26 points. Ray posted 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. Dwight, meanwhile, struggled in his debut, scoring only 6 points. It was the same storyline in the second game, with Nagoya dominating. Parks had a game-high 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists as they improved to 3-3 in the standings. Dwight and the Grouses, meanwhile, are still looking for their first win this season. Gretchen Ho, We Are One News.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. Presidential aspirants Vice President Leni Robredo and Senator Bato de la Rosa both visited Marawi yesterday. Numbers continue to improve in the metro, but experts warn another surge in COVID-19 infections is still possible. And for the 8th straight week, another big-time oil price hike takes effect today. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 1 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.